Once upon a time, there lived a little girl who always wore a Red Riding Hood, so everyone called her Little Red Riding Hood. One day, her mother asked her to take cookies and fresh herbs to her ill grandmother, warning her not to leave the path in the bunny forest. Little Red Riding Hood joyfully began her journey, wondering why the forest was named the Bunny Forest, since she hadn't seen any bunnies. Along the way, she came across a path full of flowers and decided to pick some for her grandmother. Unknowingly, she strayed from the path. As she picked flowers, she heard a noise in the bushes and was confronted by a big bad wolf. Frightened, she dropped her basket, but to her surprise, the wolf kindly handed the cookies back to her. The wolf, intrigued by her destination, asked where she was going. Little Red Riding Hood explained she was on her way to her grandmother's house at the end of the forest, bringing cookies and healthy herbs for her illness. The wolf, seeing an opportunity, offered to head to the grandmother's house first to let her know that Little Red Riding Hood was on her way, so the little girl could continue picking flowers. Just as he was about to leave, a gunshot from an approaching hunter scared the wolf, and he ran off. Realizing she was lost, Little Red Riding Hood began to cry. A hunter soon found her and asked why she was alone in such a dangerous forest. He was hunting a big bad wolf. Embarrassed for not listening to her mother, Little Red Riding Hood didn't mention the wolf she had met. Instead, she told the hunter that she was taking cookies to her sick grandmother, but had lost her way. The hunter offered to guide her to her grandmother's house, and they set off together. Meanwhile, the wolf reached the grandmother's house first, knocked on the door, and imitated Little Red Riding Hood's voice. He tricked the grandmother into believing he was her granddaughter and entered the house. When Little Red Riding Hood and the hunter finally arrived, the hunter told her to go inside quickly while he continued his hunt. Little Red Riding Hood knocked on the door, and her grandmother's voice responded, inviting her in. The voice sounded strange to Little Red Riding Hood, but she assumed it was due to her grandmother's illness and went inside. The wolf, disguised as the grandmother by wearing her clothes and lying in her bed with the curtains drawn, invited Little Red Riding Hood closer. Suspicious, Little Red Riding Hood stayed back and began to ask questions. Why were her grandmother's arms so long? Why were her ears so big? Why were her eyes so large? Why were her teeth so sharp? To each question, the wolf replied that it was to better hug, hear, see, and eat her. Finally, the wolf lunged at her, revealing his true identity. Terrified, Little Red Riding Hood screamed for help. The hunter, hearing her cries, rushed into the house, stormed through the door, and caught the wolf. "I finally caught you, big bad wolf!" the hunter exclaimed. He cut open the wolf's belly, rescuing the grandmother who had been swallowed whole but was unharmed. Grateful Little Red Riding Hood thanked the hunter for saving them both. The hunter advised her to always remember what her mother had told her and to stay on the path. The grandmother ate the cookies and used the healthy herbs to make tea, which made her feel better. A few days later, little Red Riding Hood was once again walking through the forest, singing happily, when she encountered the wolf again. This time, the wolf had been punished by the hunter and was cleaning the forest. Ashamed of his previous actions, the wolf apologized to little Red Riding Hood. The bunny forest, now filled with joy, was restored to its former state, full of flowers and bunnies, just as it had been before.
Never mind, I'm thinking out loud before